it's kind of what did you expect with Højlund leading the line? That's what we've seen. There's no reason to believe that he was going to give you something different.
And Manchester United, can we say it was positives? The missed chances and everything else. But Joshua Zirkzee seems to remember the moment. It was a good moment for them in Spain, 1-1 as we go. And speaking of Manchester United, we can hear from the head coach now, Rúben Amorim, who gave us his thoughts after the draw.
If you see the game until the penalty is not a good result because we were there. We had control of the game. We were near, and you felt after our goal we had transitions. We have control. You feel it in the stadium, but then in the penalty, changed the momentum. And again, I felt my team really tired in the last 20 minutes.
Oh, sometimes I love the papers back home. Look at this, Bruno Vaz. I thought he was really unlucky in terms of with the handball, but you know the modern rules. It sometimes happens, and a penalty is a penalty in modern football. I'm loving it in terms of what I'm seeing, and just above there, that's a good little pun on words. Son sloppy rap. Oh, good vibes here on these Friday. I love it, I love it, I love it. I know your boy Mike is wearing a Dortmund shirt today, but don't be deceived. In his heart, he is still a Manchester United fan to the core. So I want to know your biggest takeaways from Sam Sebastian yesterday. Do you think it was a positive result for Man United?
I was disappointed in the result because, and Chuck, we were on the coverage together. You were at the Golazo show. I was up on Sportsnet. Because up until the penalty was given, and in the age of VAR, that's going to be a pen. How Bruno goes up, it's not natural, it's out from his arm, and he's always going to get called about that. But up until the penalty, they had Real Sociedad on the ropes. The chances they created, the thing that really bothers me, and we go and talk about not having a striker that can put away matches like this, it's these moments. If you don't score goals in football, especially with the use of VAR, you will get undone. And once this moment happens, this is their first shot on target. This entire match, it came in around the 70th minute. Then the tie gets flipped on its head, and you're playing against a side that's really good at home. But this is a chance that prior to this ball getting cut back, Diogo Dalot, you would call him out for not being good enough this season. I thought that he was a disaster because he had an opportunity to square the ball for Rasmus Højlund. And Rasmus Højlund, there's been matches where he hasn't been good, he hasn't been effective, but I thought he was actually solid on the night. But as a striker, Chuck, you know this. If you don't get service, you cannot operate. He should have squared it across the face of the goal, but missed opportunities is a thing that I don't think this is a good result.
Unforgivable on that attempt from Dalot to not square the ball to Højlund. You're a wingback. That is your role. You're in the team to create goals, particularly in this system. That is an unforgivable lack of decision-making, right? So looking at this game overall, there's two ways to look at it. The positive is they go on the road in leg one, they get a result, good performance, solid enough performance despite the injuries. You could look at it and be positive, but the feeling seems a little negative. For one, they should have controlled this game. They should have won. It was a disappointment in the final third and everything else to not come away with a lead going back to Old Trafford. And the overall thing that I come back to, do you trust this team to win leg two? It's almost like they had to capitalize on a strong, solid performance. And Becker came off the bench for Sociedad, and he looked really good. If he starts, I think he's going to give them fits at Old Trafford.
I see it a little differently. Manchester United, since Rúben Amorim has come in, it's been very inconsistent, up and down. But in world football, playing away from home in a European tie and coming away with a result is a win. For Manchester United to have scored first, to only have allowed Real Sociedad to score off a PK, and it is a PK, and Bruno Fernandes should know at this point, you can never go into a challenge and not looking at the ball with your hand raised. I know exactly what he's trying to do. He's just trying to put his arm into the player so it puts him off balance, but you have to know where the ball is. That's a rule number one as a player defending in the box. Know where the ball is. You can't turn your head and put your hands out. But ultimately, I think you walk away and say, hey, we got a point. Now we come home to Old Trafford and we deliver. And if you look at the quality, Manchester United should go through in this tie. And to go back to your point, Højlund, yes, he relies on service, but Manchester United should know that he's limited in that. And I never thought he was the right player for Manchester United to move forward with, given his skill set and given what he's accomplished thus far coming to Manchester United.
Oh, we've said that already this week.
And so it's kind of what did you expect with Højlund leading the line? That's what we've seen. There's no reason to believe that he was going to give you something different.
Really quickly on Charlie's point, he hasn't scored in 19 games. His last goal was in early December.
Yeah, I mean, I push back a little bit on that because everything came through Rasmus Højlund holding up the ball. And in this match for about 70 minutes, United, they actually looked in control, as I said, and it was getting it to Casemiro, who had a solid match for the most part, getting it to Højlund, but Højlund decided to give it to Alejandro Garnacho, I'm going to start calling him the black hole. Because once the ball gets to him, the ball doesn't come back. The guy had 5 shots, but his decision-making, I mean, this right here, okay, I'll give this, let him off the hook. He's trying to go to the bottom corner. But when you get the ball in tight angles, I mean, Rasmus Højlund, at some point, Chuck, there are times where I watched you when I played against you.
He just missed that, by the way. I just want to throw this out there. We're talking about Manchester United. We're talking about Europe. If you go 19 games without a goal, you think we should be talking about your hold-up play?
I mean,
but 19 games at a club like Manchester United, where you're trying to get silverware, where this competition becomes everything. Because if Manchester United wants the quickest fix to bringing in recruits, to playing Champions League football, even being mid-table at best, you need to win this competition.
Chuck, are you saying that strikers are only judged by the goals that they scored in? Is that what you're saying? It's not fundamentally about all the other build-up play and all the other parts?
All of that makes you a complete striker. We talk about Harry Kane, right? Hold-up play, runs, knowing when to take a foul, going down, letting the game breathe, knowing when to run at players and be aggressive, knowing when to keep the ball and circulate it. What I'm saying is 19 games without a goal means you shouldn't be on the pitch.
Yeah, I think that in this match, if you were going to pick at players that didn't have a good game, Rasmus Højlund is not the guy you're picking in this match. You look at the chances Garnacho had. Alejandro Garnacho wouldn't have the chances he had it not been for Højlund taking 2 or 3 players with his hold-up play, which was on the money. That is part of the DNA. When you play in a 3-4-3, you have to have your hold-up play on point. But what I would have wanted him to do differently, and this is where I think you're coming in with the lack of confidence in the final third. At some point, when you see a youngster in Garnacho who's not passing the ball, who's not even hitting the right side of the post, take it yourself, man. Take it yourself. Take a chance. The goal comes from Joshua Zirkzee taking it first time. Højlund taking his time, trying to be intricate, and I think that's where the lack of confidence comes in. Confident strikers, they take responsibility, they take chances. He didn't on the night.
What I feel bad for Højlund, again, I thought he played very well on the day. You know what he is when Garnacho gets the ball either in transition or the final third? He's a decoy run. He ain't getting the ball back. So in that regard, yes, he should score more than 0 over 19, right? But the service just isn't there for him.
Yeah, but this is Garnacho just in this game, right? He's played 19 games. Not everyone
I understand.
has been with Garnacho.
But this is his tendency. This is his tendency.
This is Højlund's tendency.
I love the violence.